So good morning everyone and welcome to another of Kemp Technologies Expert Series webinars. Today we're joined by MVP Jaap Wesselius, who holds a very impressive 9 MVP awards, is a regular speaker at major events like MEC and TechEd, and a very active Microsoft community member. We are very, very pleased that he's taken the time to prepare and present for us today on a very current and interesting topic. Please feel free to submit any questions and we will try to address them at the end of this session today. I'll hand over now to Jaap and I hope you enjoy today's Kemp Expert Series webinar.
Well, thank you, Dee. Good morning, everybody. I assume most are located in Europe. Since it's close to 5 a.m. in New York City, I assume everybody is sleeping over there. So good morning and welcome to my session, What to Expect with Exchange 2016. As Dee already said, my name is Jaap Wesselius. I'm an Exchange server MVP. I'm a consultant, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a Exchange MVP. My email address, jaap@wesselius.info. You can find me on Twitter as well. My Twitter handle is @jaapwess, but I have to admit I'm not a frequent Twitterer, and you can follow me on my blog, www.jaapwesselius.com, where I will publish blog posts on a very regular basis. Today we're going to talk about Exchange 2016, and before we go into Exchange 2016, we're going to do some history lessons for Exchange admins. And don't worry, I'm not going to talk about Exchange 4, which was released somewhere, I don't know, long ago, 96, 97. But there are some history lessons, especially when it comes to hosting and Office 365. And we're going to jump to Exchange 2016. We're going to go to deployment of Exchange 2016, some best practices, Coexistence, and I have a slide on Exchange 2016 futures. So, some history lessons regarding Exchange. Microsoft has a long history with messaging hosting, and it goes all the way back to 1997 when Microsoft released a product called Commercial Internet System, or MCIS, which was basically consumer-based email hosting for POP3 clients and stuff. It was killed in somewhere 2001 or 2002, and Microsoft was working on Hosted Exchange 2000 in those days. HMC was the brand name for that, was Hosted Exchange 2000, followed by Exchange 2003 and 2007. At the same time, Microsoft released BPOS, Business Productivity Online Services, which was running Exchange 2007. It was running some version of SharePoint, and I'm not sure if there was a Link or OCS version available in those days. But it was the first step for Microsoft in business email hosting. It was followed by Hosted Exchange 2010, and it was the first version of Office 365. And in Hosted Exchange or Exchange Online, Exchange 2010 and Exchange 2010 Online started as the same build. So at the beginning, they were the same kind of products. But there were two different teams at Microsoft, and two different teams, two different processes for hotfixes and stuff. So what would happen is that you were working on an on-premises environment with Exchange 2010. You submit an issue, and then you were talking to an engineer, and the engineer would say, I have fixed this issue a couple of weeks ago. And then it turned out he had to fix the same issue for Exchange Online, and he had to do the same fix again for on-premise. So that was, not the best solution that was available. Things changed, however, in Exchange 2013, and Exchange 2013 was what I call built from the cloud up. And Microsoft made a change here, and they say, okay, it's Exchange Online first, and then we have Exchange on-premises second. So all developments are done in or for Exchange Online. So new features, new versions, new stuff, you will see it in Exchange Online first. There's a continuous development going on in Exchange Online, and it's rolled out on a very, very regular basis. It's not a weekly, but might be a bi-weekly basis. If you want to see what's going on in Office 365 or in Exchange Online, You can check the Office 365 roadmap, which you can find on roadmap.office.com. You can see the upcoming changes in Office 365. You can see the changes that are currently being deployed in Office 365, have been deployed in the past, but you can also see updates or features that have been cancelled in the service. Also, an interesting blog post is the Managing Office 365 Updates. It's a very interesting blog post from Microsoft, explaining how they rolled out 400 updates in just 1 year. I mean, 400 updates, that's quite a lot. In Exchange 2013, Microsoft also changed its servicing model. Instead of releasing service packs with the roll-up updates, they are now releasing a cumulative update on a quarterly basis. So every 3 months there's a cumulative update released, which is basically a new version of the product. It's a full version which you can install directly from the ISO image or the DVD. So you can install Windows, you can take your CU10 image and deploy it directly. So it's a full version. It's released on a quarterly basis, and after CU3 came Service Pack 1. That was for supportability purposes, but it was basically CU4 under the hood. And besides hotfixes, a cumulative update also brings new features up to a certain degree. As far as I know, CU8 for Exchange 2013 is the latest version that brought some new features, and new features are now, of course, going to Exchange 2016. When it comes to the support lifecycle, it's still N-1. So currently we are on CU10, so CU9 is also the officially supported versions. Older cumulative updates are no longer supported, except for Service Pack 1, which is officially supported up to 12 months after the release of the next Service Pack. This also means that if you want to upgrade from an older version to the current version, CU10, officially the only way that's supported is from CU8 up to CU10 or CU9 to CU10. I see a remark here that somebody is saying there's no sound. If I'm correct, there still is audio, but if you have a hybrid configuration running, only the current version of CU is supported. So only CU10 is supported for hybrid environments. Also, with Exchange 2013 came the preferred architecture, and the preferred architecture consists of several technologies in Exchange that make it easy to install, deploy, and manage your Exchange environment. For example, the multi-role service is in the preferred architecture for Exchange 2013, which means you can install the client access server and the mailbox server on one box. A database availability group, for example, hosting multiple copies, including a lagged copy. Use a hardware load balancer, locate the file share witness in a third data center, or later on place the file share witness in the Microsoft Azure. Use JBOT storage and use the Exchange native data, Exchange data protection for backup purposes. These are all some preferred prescribed architecture which you can find on the Microsoft website, which describes how you can install and configure Exchange 2013. So what's important in Exchange Online, Exchange Office 365, and basically in every large Exchange deployment? That's scalability, of course. You have to see another remark about sound not good, but I get another message that sounds perfect. So I'm going to continue, I'm sorry. The scalability, of course, is important. Automation is very important. You should be able to automate everything within Exchange to really ease up the management of and monitoring of Exchange, ease of deployments, easy upgrades. For example, when a new cumulative update is released, it's just an in-place upgrade It's very easy to do. It will integrate with older versions, stuff like that. It should also be easy to deploy new versions. I'm afraid an in-place upgrade of a new major version is always difficult, and Exchange 2016 unfortunately does not support that, but it should be fairly easy. Think about the migration from Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2013, which was pretty complex. It needed quite some resources. You need quite a lot of new servers. So that was quite complex, and you saw that happening in Office 365 as well, when Microsoft was moving from Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2013 in Exchange Online. It took way over a year to upgrade all the servers to 2013. So it was rather complex. The CU model, the quarterly cadence for the CUs, the in-place upgrade, everything is done with the ease of deployment kept in mind. So with that being said, we are going to Exchange 2013. And it's always difficult because I said it's Exchange Online first. So what's new in Exchange 2016? And to be honest, have a look at Exchange Online. But without the specific features that are available in the service like Delve or Clutter or Groups. And if you remove that, you have your Exchange 2016 version. It might sound a bit blunt, but I'm afraid it's that way. There are, however, a couple of new features under the hood, which are very interesting. A rebranded Outlook web app, for example, which is now called Outlook on the Web. It's a new look and feel for OWA. There's more and tighter integration with Office 365, and modern attachments is an interesting example of that. There are some architectural changes. I will come back to that later on. That there's support for Windows Azure, but if I'm honest, support for Windows Azure was added to Exchange, I think somewhere in the 2013 CU8 or CU9 time frame, but it was only supported when you use premium storage, so when the storage is configured to use SSD. Support for Windows Server 2016, not yet, I'm afraid. So we're still running on Exchange 2012 and 2012 R2. So the new look and feel for Outlook on the web, and this is how it looks like. And if you look at it, I mean, this could easily be a screenshot from Exchange Online. There is another role, which is the Office Web App Server, which is, I say, it's a mandatory role in Exchange, although it's not an Exchange server role. And the Office Web App Server is responsible for rendering attachments to view in OWA, or Outlook on the Web. There's a new version in 2016 called Office Online Server, and Office Online Server is responsible also for rendering attachments in your browser. So there's no need anymore to download an attachment and open it in your local Office setup. You can use your browser to view the attachment. I will show it later on in my presentation. It's a very, very cool feature for Exchange, but it's not an Exchange server. It's Office Online Server. I think it's part of SharePoint. It's used by SharePoint as well, and it's also used by Skype for Business. So that's the same server. Some architectural changes. There's the thing called simplified architecture, and in Exchange 2010 we have 5 server roles, which is the mailbox, client access, hub transport, unified messaging, and the edge transport server. And they were combined in Exchange 2013 to only 2 roles, or actually 3 roles. That's the client access server, the mailbox server, and the edge transport server. And now in Exchange 2016, Microsoft has combined the client access server and the mailbox server on 1 role, which is called the mailbox server. So we end up with 2 roles, which is the edge transport server role, and we have the mailbox server role. And basically the preferred architecture in Exchange 2013, which is now enforced into the product. Another interesting thing, or maybe concerning thing for some admins, is the database availability group, which is now configured without the administrative access point. This means that the database availability group uses the failover clustering software under the hood, but no longer a computer named object in Active Directory is created, and an IP address is also not created and not used by the database availability group anymore, which also means that you can no longer manage your database availability group using the failover cluster manager. Now, I know this was not really a best practice to do, but I see many admins still do that. There are also some third-party products which rely on the CNO and the IP address, which will now cease to function, I'm afraid. Also still preferred is the JBOD storage and using multiple databases per disk. And actually there was an interesting discussion on the Exchange 2016, or was it 2013 Facebook group last week regarding usage of JBOD versus Ascend storage solution. The default protocol for Outlook clients to connect and communicate with the Exchange server is now MAPI HTTP instead of Outlook Anywhere. MAPI HTTP was introduced in Exchange 2013 Service Pack 1. Microsoft has been working on it for up to 2 years now. It's pretty stable. It's faster than Outlook Anywhere, and Outlook Anywhere is also deprecated at the same time. So chances are that in the future Outlook Anywhere will be removed at all. So looking at the architectural changes, this is what we have right now. On the right-hand side, we have the internal network, the enterprise network, where we have the mailbox server configured in the database availability group. It's the hardware load balancer configured, which is now layer 7 load balancing, where it was layer 4 in Exchange 2013. We have storage, Active Directory. There's an Office Web App server farm, or actually I have to change the image because it's now an Office Online server. On the left-hand side, we have the internet, the external SMTP servers, and various clients connecting to the Exchange server. When it comes to message hygiene, you can use the Edge Transport server for anti-spam and antivirus protection, but you can also use Exchange Online Protection, which is very interesting. For example, if you have a tight integration with Office 365 using a hybrid configuration. Some more features. The auto-expanding archive in Exchange 2016. You can create an archive, and by default the archive is 100 gigabytes in size. But when the archive reaches its limit, it's automatically increased in 50 gigabyte increments. And when it's reached, another 50 gigabyte is added and another 50 gigabyte is added. So there's an auto-expanding archive option there. A very neat feature in Exchange 2016 is the coexistence with Exchange 2013. Since Exchange 2013 and Exchange 2016 are so close together, they integrate very, very nice. And I will try to demo that as well. The resilient file system is a new file system supported by Exchange 2013, so it was already available, but it's now recommended for Exchange 2016. And fellow Exchange MVP Michel de Roy, who's also from the Netherlands, wrote an interesting blog post about the usage of the resilient file system. At one point you want to install Exchange 2016, and then it comes to support and the prerequisites. When we look at the operating system where you want to install Exchange 2016, it's still Windows 2012 and Windows 2012 R2. Support for Windows Server 2016 will be added somewhere in the future in a cumulative update, but I have no idea which update that will be. Active Directory is also increased to 2008 forest functional level and domain functional level. And this is a good example of Microsoft actually listening to customers, because the original idea was to hire the level to Windows 2008 R2, but there were quite a lot of large customers who are still running 2008 and were not able to upgrade to 2008 R2 at this moment. So Microsoft lowered the prerequisites for Active Directory level. When it comes to coexistence with older versions of Exchange, you need Exchange 2010 Service Pack 3, RU11 or higher, or Exchange 2013 CU10 or higher. This also means that support for Exchange 2007 is no longer in the product, and it's actually just like previous versions. It's the N-1 support, so Exchange 2007 is blocked hard-coded in the product. Looking at the clients, Outlook 2010 Service Pack 2 or higher is supported. Outlook 2007 is no longer supported. I'm not sure if it will work. If it will work, it's not supported. And Microsoft can change only one bit in Exchange and your client will die. So it's time to upgrade to a recent client anyway. Outlook for Mac 2011 or higher. And important to note that the MAPI CDO libraries are no longer supported and no longer working with Exchange 2016. So if you have custom homemade application using the MAPI CDO library, you have to rewrite the application to use, for example, Exchange Web Services. It's no longer supported, it's no longer working, I'm afraid. Some best practices. When you are designing your Exchange, your new Exchange environment, just like the previous version, use the requirements calculator to write a proper design. The latest version of the requirements, which was released a couple of weeks ago, supports Exchange 2013 and Exchange 2016. So you have to check which version you are using. And also the resilient file system is automatically enforced by this calculator. And when you want to test your design, you can use the Exchange 2013 JetStress utility. You can replace the ESE DLLs with the Exchange 2016 specific version and you will get proper results. Use a layer 7 hardware load balancer. You can also use a software load balancer, but you can use a layer 7 load balancer for the best results. And when you want to install Exchange 2016, use the latest version of Michel de Roy's install script, which will automatically install and configure your server. It will install the prerequisite software. It will configure everything. It will anything you want, everything that Microsoft failed to put into the setup application, Michel de Roy has added. And you can download it from bit.ly/unattended. It's very interesting, a very cool script to use. Now this is the best, absolutely best feature in Exchange 2016, and it's the Coexistence version with Exchange 2013. It's also called the version proxy. And what it basically does, you can add Exchange 2016 servers to your existing array of 2013 client access server. So if you have a load balancer, you can add the 2016 servers to the to the VIP or to the virtual service of the load balancer, and it will just work. So install Exchange 2016 next to Exchange 2013, import the SSL certificates. You have to create a new database availability group. The database availability group in Exchange 2016 is not compatible with 2013. So you have to create a new database availability group. Move mailboxes from 2013 to Exchange 2016 and users should not notice anything. Of course, when you import the SSL certificates, you also have to create or configure your virtual directories, of course. So how does that look? Here I have my server. It's my OWASP server. As you can see, it's an Exchange 2013 CU10 server running on Windows Server 2012 R2. So I have this user called John 2013. This is just a mailbox running on Exchange 2013. I'm accessing an Exchange 2013 client access server. This is very, very familiar. So I can receive email, I can send email. It's empty right now because I created it this morning, but it's just basic, straightforward Exchange 2013. I can sign out. I have another user John 2016. And as you can see, I'm still connected to the Exchange 2013 CU10 server. When I hit sign in, the most exciting moment, I'm hitting the Exchange 2013 client access server here. My mailbox is on Exchange 2016, and my request is automatically proxied from Exchange 2013 to Exchange 2016. There's no need to work on additional namespaces or whatever. Just locate the new Exchange 2016 server next to the 2013, and you're ready to go. Here you can see my email. There are some attachments, and when I select here View, it will open the presentation, in this case using the Office Online server. It should be, there it goes. And here it will open PowerPoint Web App, and I can see my presentation just in my webmail browser. And the same goes, for example, for a Word attachment. So keep in mind, you are looking at Exchange 2016, you're looking at Office Online Server 2016, but all proxied through the Exchange 2013 client access server without any issues. And you can see we have the look and feel here of Exchange 2016, which is the same as Exchange Online. So that's very cool. I can go to my load balancer. Here are my Exchange 2016 servers, so the real servers are disabled. I'm going to disable Exchange 2013. I'm going to enable Exchange 2016. And now we are in Exchange 2016. It says preview mode, but it's still the Exchange 2016 RTM version, but I haven't changed the landing page. And I'm going to try John 2013 again. So now I'm accessing the Exchange 2016 server. I'm going to the 2013 mailbox. I'm seamlessly proxied to the Exchange 2013 servers. And when I go back to my load balancer, I can enable Exchange 2013. I can enable Exchange 2016 in the same array of load balancers, and it will just work. And end users will not notice the difference between Exchange 2013 and Exchange 2016. So that's a very, very nice feature of Exchange 2016. Coexistence with Exchange 2010. That's basically old school because it's identical to Exchange 2010 versus Exchange 2016. So you have to install a new array of Exchange 2016 servers. At one point, you have to change the namespace from Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2016, and then the users are proxied to the correct backend. It's a bit more complex because you need an entire array of Exchange 2016 servers before you can change your namespace to hit the Exchange 2016 servers. You have to install Exchange 2016, import the SSL certificates, configure the virtual directories, again install in the database availability group. Then you have to switch your namespace, which is the most important part in the coexistence scenario with Exchange 2010. You can move your mailboxes, and in the end you can decommission your Exchange 2010 servers. So what will the future bring? As you might have guessed, Exchange 2016, it's not a major upgrade, it's a minor upgrade. You can see it in the version. It's going from Exchange 15.0 to Exchange 15.1. Yeah, you can wonder why Microsoft did not call it Exchange 2013 Service Pack 2, but that's basically a supportability issue, I guess. Will there be a new major version? It depends, of course. My personal opinion says, okay, yes, there will be a major version, but I have not heard anything from Microsoft regarding any new versions. It all depends on customer demand. Of course, when customers say we need new major versions, Microsoft will release it. When Microsoft says, okay, we are not going to release a new major version, and there's a lot of customer demand saying they need a version, just like Microsoft trying to kill public folders in Exchange 2007, for example. When there's enough customer demand, Microsoft will continue. The next version, however, will be Exchange 15.2, so it will be again a minor upgrade. Service packs are no longer released, so Microsoft will continue the quarterly release of cumulative updates. So in 3 years, I guess we will be running Exchange 2016, CU12, or yeah, maybe higher. It's quite uncertain what will going on here, and Microsoft will continue to develop Exchange in Exchange Online. We can see what's happening in Exchange Online, and the interesting parts in Exchange Online will be backported to Exchange On-Premise. So when we go to the summary, you might have already guessed, but Exchange 2016 originates from the cloud, and it's cloud first, Exchange Online first, and then we have Exchange On-Premise first. So there are some new features like Outlook on the web, modern attachment, unlimited archive already available in Office 365, which trickle down to Exchange On-Premise. The simplified architecture, for example, comes from the preferred architecture. And basically, Microsoft is saying, okay, we know how to deploy Exchange. We know how to configure Exchange. So we are creating the simplified architecture. This is the way you should install and configure Exchange. The coexistence between Exchange 2013 and Exchange 2016 is very, very easy. It can be installed in a couple of days. The coexistent Exchange 2010-2016, it's a typo here, should be known because it's identical to Exchange 2010-2013. Yeah, the future will be, of course, at this moment a bit unknown. Cloud will be more and more important than ever. Microsoft has this cloud-first focus, and yeah, anything interesting in cloud will be seen come down to Exchange On-Premise. So Exchange 2016, it originates from the cloud. It's a very interesting development. It's very nice, very easy to deploy, and brings a lot of interesting features for us. So any questions regarding Exchange 2016? So we are 35 minutes in the presentation, so we have some time left for questions. I don't see anything happening on the screen. Hey, I hear Dee.
Hi, thank you so much, Jaap. I did see some questions that people would like the recording and link to the presentation afterwards, and we'll certainly send that out. So you'll get an email later today just with those details. But if there's any specific questions now for Jaap on the presentation, or maybe something that we didn't cover that you have interest in, please feel free to ask, and we have a couple of minutes to cover those now.
And you also have the option, of course, to send me an email later on, which I normally answer within.
So we have a couple of questions coming in, Jaap. Let's have a look at one or two of those. So somebody asked, is there anything new with eDiscovery and SharePoint integration, both on-prem and hybrid?
If you have an hybrid environment, there's this centralized eDiscovery portal where you can manage everything from your online portal. So you can do eDiscovery from the online portal. It will search your Exchange, and it will search your SharePoint environment, both online and on-premise.
Thanks, Jaap. The next question is, the public folder will be a mailbox like it will be in 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah, there are no changes there. So if you are running a large public folder environment, yeah, you have to migrate these to the new modern public folders, which are basically public folder mailboxes, just like in Exchange 2013.
Great, and let's take one or two more. So we have another question from Nicholas. What's with the defragmentation of the databases?
You have this online defragmentation within the database, and there are no changes there, so it will run 24 hours a day. There is no offline defragmentation. So if you have a 100 gigabyte mailbox database and there's only 20 gigabytes inside the database will not shrink in size. It won't be defragmented, nothing of that.
Thanks. We have another question from Michael. Where can I find more information about moving the namespace from 2010 to 2016?
Use the 2010-2013 guidance because it's 100% identical.
Perfect. Thanks, Jaap. And then we'll just take one or two more. So Michael's asked, will all Kemp load balancers support Exchange 2016?
That's more a question for you, I guess.
That's probably more.
The answer is yes. Yes.
I should have probably taken that one, yeah, you're right.
Wait, coming back to the Kemp question, what I did here for my virtual service on the Kemp was using the 2013 templates, which work fine with Exchange 2016 because they are so close together.
Perfect. So the 2013 templates can be used for anybody who's using the LoadMaster on a 2016 upgrade.
Without any issues.
Perfect. And we'll just take one more question. When you're on Exchange 2013 and in hybrid, are there any updates we must do when you're on Exchange 2016? So when you're on Exchange 2013 and in hybrid, are there any updates we must do when we're on Exchange 2016?
Officially, the hybrid server needs to be on the latest version, which is Exchange 2016. I have been running a hybrid environment where I had this Exchange 2013 service. You just saw it. There were Exchange 2016 servers hosting mailboxes. In the hybrid server itself is still running Exchange 2013 at the moment without any issues. I did upgrade or reconfigure the hybrid configuration using the new hybrid configuration client. It's no longer a cloud-based wizard that you're running. You are installing a small standalone application on your hybrid server you can use for the hybrid configuration. I just posted a small blog post about that particular subject only yesterday on my website. And somewhere in time, in the near future, yeah, you have to upgrade your hybrid service to Exchange 2016. But it will continue to work though.
Thank you, Jaap. And we'll just take one final question from Dave Roberts. What's your recommended path to upgrade from Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2016?
Oh, directly from 2010 to 2016.
Okay, so there shouldn't be any problem.
If you have Exchange 2007, you have to do a double hop, and then my advice would be to go to Exchange 2013, from Exchange 2007 to 2013, and then integrate Exchange 2016 into 2013. But your mileage may vary, by the way.
Okay, so that's perfect. I think we have a lot of questions, so what we might do is maybe compile some answers to those. Jaap, I'll send on all the questions that were submitted. Maybe we can get back to some of those people, or maybe it would be interesting to do some follow-up content based on the most common questions that have come in. Just regarding to Kemp Technologies, there will be an Exchange 2016 template available in the near future. So once that's available, we can notify everybody as well. But as Jaap said, you can use the Exchange 2013 template for the meantime. I don't think you'll have to wait too long. Jaap, I just want to say thank you so much again for taking time out today to do this webinar. I'm sure everyone will agree it was extremely useful and a fantastic presentation. And we will make it available for everybody to view the recording and get access to the slides as well. So thank you very, very much.
Okay, you're welcome. That was a pleasure to do.
Thanks everybody and have a fantastic day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye for now, Jaap.